meet up close and personal Dr. Eno Obot. Dr. Eno will share with us her philosophy that's helping us to live better lives. Welcome to The Greatness in You. I'm Will Horton. Today, our topic is health and wellness. Joining me to talk about health and wellness is Dr. Eno Obot. She's a board-certified physician and life coach. Dr. Eno, you have 20 years of experience in health and wellness. Tell me a little bit about your philosophy.
Thank you very much. My philosophy has always been to empower my patients to take better care of themselves. In other words, more of preventive health strategies than really focusing on just disease. And it's that journey that actually led me into the field of professional coaching, because I found that by collaborating with my patients and now clients and actually getting them engaged and enrolled in their own health care, there were far better outcomes than just the traditional model where the physician, in quotes, dictated to their patients. So my philosophy has always been to enroll and empower people to be able to make the changes that they see possible for themselves in their health and overall well-being.
What's the most challenging, what's the most difficult task you have in forcing people to change bad habits?
Well, I think that's just the buzzword, forcing people to change bad habits. Over my years of experience, that just has not worked. For the most part, when people feel they are forced to change habits, they disengage and probably get lost to follow up, so that by the next time you see them, their disease process is far more advanced, they're suffering from more complications. So essentially, it's being less forced to and getting more engaged in the process earlier on that creates more sustainable results and more change.
Tell me briefly about this connection between physician and coach.
Physician and coach, well,
Yes.
That's a great question. You see, as a physician, traditionally, we are not really trained to engage. And so over the last few years, I'd say about 3 to 4 years, I actually came across the field of coaching and had what is popularly called an aha moment. I began to understand that that model that I was trying to encourage my patients to become engaged in was actually the process of coaching, which was collaborating and creating a platform where we both agreed on a common result. And as a coach, I actually encourage my patients to be accountable for the results that they want to achieve, versus being the physician, which was more of, you're going to go do this the way I say to do it.
Are you a good example for your patients? Because I can remember that I had a physician, and he was giving me advice, but he wasn't living, he wasn't taking his own advice.
Well, I really strive to be a good example. I really strive to walk my walk and talk my talk. I'm very physically active. I have actually run several half marathons, and marathons being the achiever that I am. I regularly am involved in physical activity at least 2 to 3 times a week, and also strive to eat very healthily. It's kind of very interesting because I also live in the area where my patients are, and sometimes I bump into them in the grocery store, and they're able to see the kind of the food choices that I make. So I really strive to walk my walk and talk my talk.
You were born in London, and you moved to Nigeria. Tell me about that journey.
Well, yes, I was born in London, and at the age of about 8 years old, my mother specifically wanted to move back home to Nigeria because her parents were getting older, you know, the traditional Sangwe generation that we're more familiar with now. And so she decided to move the entire family, which at that stage I was initially resentful because I was used to being in London and raised in London. But yes, being in Nigeria allowed me to connect to my roots, and it was a great experience as time went on, because we actually were still able to embrace our Western lifestyle despite, you know, becoming attached to our cultural roots. So it was a very great experience. At the time that I moved to Nigeria, Nigeria was flourishing as a large oil-producing country. It wasn't as corrupt as what it is, regrettably, today.
So you received your education in Nigeria?
Yes, my initial primary education was in London, and then we transitioned into Nigeria. And the system of education is similar to because Nigeria was colonized by the British, the system of education was very similar to London.
Were there any challenges you had to overcome receiving your training in Nigeria?
You mean my medical training?
Your medical training, yes.
I would say not that I was really aware of initially. I happen to have been what is called an early bloomer. I actually went to medical school at the age of 15, which is pretty young. I guess one of the first challenges was probably being focused enough to go through some of the initial challenging courses, for instance, anatomy, convincing myself that I could, for instance, cut up a human body and go through anatomy to meet the prerequisites for medical school. But other than that, it wasn't too much of a challenge.
We have to take a short break. We'll be right back.
Wisdom Keys, Great Proverbs and Sayings by Will Horton is a 4-book collection of timeless proverbs and sayings that provide sage advice and guidance for successful living. They are a fountain of knowledge that will inspire, motivate, and empower you to achieve greatness. Book 1, Ability to Extraordinary. Book 2, Failure to Knowledge. Book 3, Lack to Purpose. Book 4, Quarrel to You. Will Horton's Proverbs and Sayings are rules of conduct for successful living. Buy the 4-book set at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400. Shipping is free.
Make your child head of the class. Head of the Class Early Childhood Development Center, 1900 East 87th Street, Chicago. Committed to excellence in education. Call 773-721-7500.
For the best in limousine service, ride with a Butler. Call Butler Limousine, 708-758-5466. Discover the personal powers that unlock the genius and greatness in you. Will Horton, author of the Wisdom for Greatness series, has written a breakthrough book, The 30 Power Principles, 30 life-changing principles that will help to give birth to your greatness. The 30 Power Principles can help you awaken and bring forth infinite possibilities for happiness, health, success, and greatness. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
Welcome back. We're talking about health and wellness with Dr. Eno. A healthy mind and body is your greatest wealth. Number 1, we should pray for a healthy mind and body, not fame and fortune. Without good health, money won't matter. Number 2, do something each day to promote your well-being. A healthy mind and body gives rise to happiness in life. Number 3, make health and wellness a priority. Without good health, disease is always near. Let's hear what some people on the street are saying about today's hot topic.
I think when it comes to health, it's very important that you try to live a stress-free life. A lot of our ailments come from that. And a lot of it is also being aware of what's going on, what you put into your body, making sure you exercise, and again, living a stress-free life if you can.
But we can take a lot of steps. If we are concerned about our health and we take care of that, then we can focus more so on purpose and living our best life.
Health is what you eat. That's the first step. It's how you think, it's how you breathe, and it's how you live.
My name is Rahul, and you are watching The Greatness in You.
The Biblical Success Principles, The Laws and Power of God by Will Horton is a theology of success. The Biblical Success Principles book and study guide can be used to bring forth God's will and purpose for your life. Buy them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping. The ABCs of Success, A to Z Rules and Action Steps for Success by Will Horton will help give rise to victorious living. They will help you condition your mind for success, keep a positive attitude, get in the success zone, achieve success and victory. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
Will Horton Power Thoughts on Hopes and Dreams and Will Horton Power Thoughts on Success and Winning are a recipe for success. They will help you give life to your hopes and dreams and put you in the power zone. Power thoughts condition your mind to triumph over negativity and the powerless thoughts that lead to hopelessness and lowered ambitions. They condition your mind for success. You become what you dream, believe, expect, and have faith that you will achieve. These power thoughts will motivate, inspire, and empower you to achieve success and greatness. Buy them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400. Shipping is free.
Let's learn wisdom for a healthy you.
Hi, my name is Bruno Cortes. I'm a physician and cardiologist, and I'm most interested in prevention. So I like to teach to you some principles of health. The first principle is respect your body. Listen to the body signals. The body communicates with you with symptoms, so it's up to us to pay attention. If something changes in your body function and you notice this change as consistent, that is the time to seek help.
We have to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to get up close and personal with Dr. Eno. Stay with us.
Make your child head of the class. Head of the Class Early Childhood Development Center, 1900 East 87th Street, Chicago. Committed to excellence in education. Call 773-721-7500. The 52 Principles for Successful Living, Keys to Success and Victorious Living by Will Horton will elevate your mind, lift your spirit, and take you to the pinnacle of success. They provide the key to success. They will connect you to the power of your higher self. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
Will Horton's Power Quotes is a 6-volume collection of power quotes that will get you in the power zone. Volume 1, Power for Dreams. Volume 2, Power for Success. Volume 3, Power for Hopes. Volume 4, Power for Winning. Volume 5, Power for Greatness. Volume 6, Power for Life. Future success awaits those who make the best use of the present, says Horton. Will Horton's Power Quotes, the 6-volume set, is available at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping. Discover the personal powers that unlock the genius and greatness in you. Will Horton, author of the Wisdom for Greatness series, has written a breakthrough book, The 30 Power Principles, 30 life-changing principles that will help to give birth to your greatness. The 30 Power Principles can help you awaken and bring forth infinite possibilities for happiness, health, success, and greatness. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
The ABCs of Self-Esteem by Will Horton can be used to help children develop highly effective habits that will lead to happiness and success in life. The ABCs of Self-Esteem was written for families to enhance and build self-esteem in both young and old. Buy the ABCs of Self-Esteem at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books Incorporated at 773-445-2400. Shipping is free.
Welcome back. We have Dr. Eno with us. She's a physician and life coach. Dr. Eno, you were a top student in medical school, right?
Yes.
But when you came to America for your residency, you almost decided to quit. Tell me about that story.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, being a top graduating student from medical school, medicine had come to me naturally until I came to the United States. I took my qualifying exams to get into residency and was very excited to be taken into a program in Brooklyn, New York in 1993, and arrived on the ICU floor and was taken aback by the complexity of being in an ICU my first day of rotation. I clearly recall being very bewildered and taken aback by the language that was used, the beeping of the ventilator settings and the drips, and I thought to myself, this cannot be happening. And over the next few months, I began to think maybe being a physician in the United States was not for me. I actually decided I may have to quit because I was so overwhelmed and taken aback by the complexity of what appeared to be medicine in the United States. However, as the months went on, I had to do a lot of self-talk and self-motivation, and I was actually held up and motivated by my colleagues who were also in a similar situation. We encouraged ourselves over the first 6 months to push through, and it's all history now. Naturally, after 3 years of residency, I completed an internal medicine residency in Brooklyn, New York, and the rest is history. That's 16 years ago.
Yes. Did this experience give rise to your coaching career?
Not exactly. My coaching career actually came a lot later. After finishing residency, I went into a traditional primary care internal medicine track and relocated to Chicago in 1998 and was in primary care and then decided to transition into private practice. At that point, I really wanted to create a different kind of medicine for my patients than what I had experienced as a group practice. And as time went on, I actually came across the field of coaching because I was invited to speak at a women's event. And that was when I had that aha moment that was what I was really trying to create, that different kind of medicine where we got our patients engaged in their health care. So that's how I came across coaching.
I want to learn a little bit more about the makeup of Dr. Eno. What gave you the strength to continue to move forward when you experience your circumstances in residency?
Well, it was an overwhelming belief that I was destined to be a physician no matter what. I went into medical school at a very early age. So literally, I have been a physician for most of my life. I went into medical school at the age of 15, as I shared with you. And so that was the only world I knew. And so the thought of it being taken from me was something I could not really relate to. I mean, I've always known myself as being the physician and the healer. And so that's what really pushed me through, the belief that no matter what, this is what I was destined to be, a physician, no matter where.
So this thing that pushed you forward, it was strong belief?
It was a strong
in
belief.
what?
A strong belief in myself and my purpose. This is how I've always identified myself, and so it would have been hard to identify myself as anything else. So that was the belief in who I knew myself to be that pushed me forward no matter what.
At what point did you decide to stop doubting and have more courage?
When I came to the conclusion that those around me were doubting me more, and I knew myself to be that top achieving student, I knew myself to be a great physician no matter what. That's when I decided to actually turn the negative self-talk into the positive reinforcement that I could do this, because I'd proven that before. As I shared, I came out of medical school being a top graduating student without really, in quotes, trying. It was just something that happened because that's who I am. It was really a surprise to me when I graduated from medical school with those awards. And so I knew that it was already ingrained inside me that this is who you are and you have the power to do it. Coming into residency, before residency training, I had to take qualifying exams. And at some point I was told by some colleagues that I could not take those exams and pass them without going through some, formatted training programs. And I did that just sitting down and reading and committing to the curriculum and going through it. So I already had the, I'd say, what would I say, the roadmap or the ingrained teaching that I could do this. And so it was just a matter of doing it again.
When did this formation of this, the character of you, the form? When was it formed in medical school?
I would say it was formed before. I come from a family of professionals. My father, who just recently departed, transitioned, was a CPA, and my mother a nurse. And so they ingrained in us early on that we would be professionals and contribute to society. And so it's been something that's been ingrained in us from the time we were younger. And so that was really the formation, that we could be who we decided to be or committed to being.
You've written a book. Tell me about that book.
Yeah, the book. Well, the book was really a journey from my examining room. As I shared with you, when I went into primary care, private medical practice, I was really committed to creating a different kind of medicine from what I had practiced before. I really wanted to enroll my patients in creating a change for themselves. I also found that diabetes, which affects a huge amount of people, was an area where when I diagnosed my patients with diabetes, they tended to want to disconnect. And so it became a challenge to me. I'm someone who's very challenge-driven. It became a challenge to me to really dispel the myth that if you were diagnosed with diabetes, that you would inevitably have the complications that people were so familiar with. It became my mission to really, to dispel that myth. And so I began to engage my patients in conversation, enroll them in embracing healthy lifestyle changes. And the more I did that, the more change I found in my patients. Well, eventually, after a few years of saying the same thing over and over again and creating the same results in people who were enrolled in creating this change, I said out aloud one day to one of my patients, I should write a book. And her response was, why don't you? And from there, it just became a natural that I was going to commit to writing the book. However, I wanted to create a book that was different from what was out there. And what came to me, an amazing download, was I was going to create a book using the alphabet, so words of the alphabet all the way from A to Z. And so my journey became, how was I going to create a book on diabetes using the letters of the alphabet? Well, I was able to create that in a period of about 18 months and publish the book. And my initial mission was to have that book available to my patients in my examining room, because as you know, our office visits are still traditionally 15-minute visits. And so I wanted to be able to create material that they were able to go away with and get enrolled and learn more about diabetes and gain some awareness that was in an easy to understand format.
We're going to have you back to talk more about diabetes. Dr. Eno has much more to share with us. When we come back, we're going to find out what life lessons she has learned.
Make your child head of the class. Head of the Class Early Childhood Development Center, 1900 East 87th Street, Chicago. Committed to excellence in education. Call 773-721-7500.
Wisdom Keys for Greatness, Rules of Success for Teens, book and workbook by Will Horton will get you ready for success. Rules of Success for Teens prepares you for future success and greatness. The rule of conduct for tomorrow's success is to prepare for it today. Be ready to board the success train when it stops at your station in life. Buy them at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400 for free shipping.
My name is Dominique, and I want to be a psychiatric doctor. And I want to be in law enforcement.
A professional football player.
A marine biologist.
Be a lawyer.
I want to be a veterinarian.
A teacher.
To be a doctor.
I want to be a songwriter.
If you know your abilities and you believe you can, you eventually will. Don't just be ordinary. I want you to become extraordinary. The key is that you have to awaken this greatness.
Not only that you have to have goals, but you have to work towards them.
I learned that the first step to success is to believe in myself and always keep going on with your dreams and never let go of them.
Choose your friends correctly, because like if you don't, you can go down the wrong path.
Martin Luther King Jr. is a hero, an inspirational book for children from early childhood through middle and late childhood. Martin Luther King Jr. is a hero will help parents and children better plan their life's journey, aim, and destination. The book will help young children give birth to their dreams. Buy it at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, or call Wisdom Books at 773-445-2400. As always, shipping is free.
Welcome back. We're talking about health and wellness with Dr. Eno. What are some life lessons you've learned, Doctor?
You know, one of the most pertinent life lessons I've learned is the ability to embrace change throughout my life. As I shared with you, I was born in London and had to transition to Nigeria and eventually to the United States. And through that has been the common theme of change. I think without embracing change, we become resistant, and that sets us up for a high level of stress, which eventually could lead to illness and disease. So change is something that I feel is something that has really sustained me throughout my life, and being able to be adaptable and versatile is really a strong muscle that I feel we all need to adapt. Mm-hmm. Another life lesson that really comes to me is a belief in oneself. You know, having come from another country, sometimes embracing a different culture, people may not necessarily understand you or buy into your belief, just as I shared when I started my residency. And I think having a very strong belief in yourself and knowing what you stand for, actually being a stand for something, is one of the most important parts of being human, I would say, or part of the human existence. And something that, another life lesson that I think has been very, very critical is really tapping into the essence of who we are as human beings. We're all, in the end, one. And being able to see that flow from whatever culture is really been something that I stand by, and I really tap into the essence and the goodness of everybody, who they are being, rather than who they are externally.
Great advice, Dr. Eno. Thanks for sharing. And thank you for joining us on The Greatness in You. I look forward to meeting you one day and hearing about your journey to success and greatness. Remember, you have greatness in you.
This has been a W. Horton production.